Now, once you've identified it, what I want you to do is I want you to step into the ball with that stance every time. As a matter of fact, when you go to the driving range, I want you to warm up with 10, 15, 20, 25 shots, standing in that stance that you use to identify what your swing anchor was. So from then on, if you step in with that stance, you're going to find out automatically it gets you in a better position. So if you were in the left of center, balance position, and if I went ahead and stepped in that way, we're going to find automatically it puts me 60-40. When I widen my stance, I'm still going to be 60-40. I'm also going to have a slightly closed stance at this point. Okay, so all front anchor golfers have a closed stance. The more front anchor they are, the more closed they stance. If they're just a little left of center, they have a slightly closed stance. You tend to stand very square in your video, even though you're a front anchor golfer, and that actually causes some problems with opening the gap or clearing during the downswing so you can get your arms linked up properly. So we need to make sure we get that stance correct. Okay? So once again, once you find out what fits you, you're going to step in that way, then you're going to go left, and then you're going to go right. Now to create the proper secondary tilt, what you're going to do is keep your head in position and just push your hips forward. You have a tendency to get your weight here, but then you lean away from the target, and that moves your head way too far back. And during the backswing, then you want to move into your right side, and it makes it very hard for you to get back to the ball. So we want to make sure we get that posture correct once we step in. So you're going to step in with the stance that fits you. From here, left and right, and you're going to bump your hips forward. Okay? So really get used to keeping your head in position and bumping your hips forward. You can see that helped me create more secondary tilt, and that's going to allow me to come more from the inside on the right plane, as I deliver that swing in the downswing. Okay, the next thing I want to look at is, how your shoulders are being aligned in the golf swing. You have a tendency to really drop your right shoulder at address. This is an under golfer's position, but you've tested to be a side-on golfer. So we'd like your shoulders to be a little bit more level, maybe just a slight tilt in your shoulders. On-top golfers have very level shoulders at address. Side-on golfers have a slight tilt, and under golfers have a lot of tilt. So what we want to do is get you in a position where you just have a slight tilt. Now you have a tendency to set up to the ball a very straight line between your arm and the golf club. Again, that's an under golfer's technique. What I'd like to see is when you get set up to the ball, is let's just get the hands, instead of in the middle or way up here by your left thigh, just in between. So with every club, your hands are going to fall sort of just on the inside of your left thigh, and that club goes ahead and grounds. When you put yourself in that position, you'll be in a much better position to make a side-on swing. It'll level your shoulders out at address as well. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Okay, so I bump my hips a little forward. My hands are just a little bit ahead of center. My shoulders are a little bit more level now than they were before, and I'm in a much better position to make a side-on swing. Okay, now I'm an under golfer. Sometimes I'm trying to exaggerate these so it looks proper for you, but I'm sure if you compare your old video to what I'm trying to describe, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. You can always send me an email and we can clarify it. Okay? All right, now as you start your backswing, there's two things I want you to be a little better at. Number one, I want you to feel like you're a little more grounded on your feet. We've noticed in your video, even though it looks like you have good positions, you're a little bit light on your feet. So I want you to get the sense that as you move into the backswing, that you're getting your weight on your feet, and that's going to get the feeling that you're going to have a little more flex in your legs as you go up to the top of the backswing, which is going to help you stay grounded during the transition and allow you to get that push off the ground we need through the ball. The next thing is as you make your takeaway, I want you to get the feeling of your left shoulder going down under your chin. As we looked in your videos, you tend to turn your shoulders a little flatter than we'd like to see. And what ends up happening when you turn your shoulders flat, you get in a position where it feels very hard to get your arms in front of you. If you actually have a little more tilt in that left shoulder as it goes under, you're going to feel like you have all this room to get your arms down in front, into the forward swing. And that's going to help you with your clearing, it's going to help you with your linkage, and it's going to help you rotate more left so you don't have to throw that release like we've seen in the past. Okay, so again, as we start the swing, I want you to get the sense that your left shoulder is going down under your chin. Okay, from here it's going to allow you to get those arms more in front coming down so that you can deliver that club with the arms more in front of you, and you're going to be able to rotate more left in your golf swing. Let's play a couple of shots doing that.